Is Ghost of Tsushima Iki Island worth the price?
Samurai!
I just got around to playing this DLC and I had a ton of fun with it. It brought me back to what I loved about Ghost of Tsushima, but also sort of brought up what I didn't like about Ghost of Tsushima. But overall, I would say this was a positive experience. Iki Island takes you to the island of Iki, an island that in the past Jin and his father actually were on, trying to conquer the people of this island to bring them into the, I guess it would be like the shogun's rule, the samurai and everything, and they failed. This is actually where Jin watched his father die. You get to the island and you learn there is the Eagle tribe, who is led by this lady who has, they painted as she might have mystical powers, but essentially she has a poison that she's dropping into everyone that makes them hallucinate their worst fears, and it sort of affects you throughout the gameplay. And so you join this rebel alliance of people, the people that actually fended off your father to help them take back their island from this lady, because she is using the Mongols as an excuse to take the island over. So thus, since Jin is stopping the Mongols on Tsushima, he's got to stop the Mongols on Iki. And that's going to be most of your story. You're going to be going through the ways, doing a bunch of challenges, or standing off against different Mongols or samurai to fight. Overall, you'll have a great time. There's amazing, beautiful locations to see still. They add a couple new minigames, some being a archery minigame, and then adding in some more bamboo things to do and such. They added a duel arena, which did pop up some of the issues I have with the combat, the minor issues. And outside of that, that's pretty much all you're gonna get. It is a pretty small island, but there is a lot jam-packed into it. So if you loved Ghost of Tsushima, you will love this addition to DLC. If we talk combat, it's still fantastic. They don't do a ton to update combat. They give you some new ghost tools. They allow your horse to run through enemies, which is awesome. I love that attack. I love being able to just plow through a bunch of Mongolian soldiers with my horse, but there's not much added. The biggest addition they do in this DLC is allowing the different Mongolian fighters to switch between different weapons, forcing you to change your stance, because on playing through a little bit of the first game again, you start to recognize the combat's a little rock, paper, scissors, and while it still feels good after a while, it's not that deep, and it can be a little boring. So this is a way to add some spice to your fights, where instead of just parrying and then just mashing triangle or killing them in one hit if you're good enough, you actually have to sit there and notice that, oh shit, the guy using a spear is now using two swords, or so on and so forth. That does bring up a negative. If you play Iki Island, the Mongolians on the mainland don't get any smarter, so they still only use the main weapon. So it's a little sad to see that the additions they brought in this DLC weren't brought over to the main game, because I think that would make the main game a little more engaging, but it would also be weird with how they'd have to implement it. From there, of course, you've still got many of your side activities, finding hot springs, dueling people, doing your bamboo shoots to gain up your resolve, stuff like that. And it's all hidden behind their beautiful UI of utilizing smoke in the distance, the winds, a bird. I don't believe they add fox shrines, but I never found one. You still have like the lighthouses, so there's plenty for you to do and more for you to learn. This is very much an exploration of Jin as a character. It doesn't really hard tie into the main story. It's to give more depth to who Jin was and what happened with his father. Beyond that, I guess I'll talk about some of my negatives. My big negative from the original game is still here. The stealth is sort of clunky, and I never felt the need to do it. I like the main combat, and while I wish there was more to it, it's still really good. Where the ghost powers, they sort of feel overpowered or half-baked to me, and sometimes the other powers they've added have felt that way as such. Doesn't mean it's bad though, it just means that there is some stumbling every now and then where you can tell they wanted there to be more than what you actually get, essentially, is how I would put it. And it's sad, because I would love to see this formula perfected, maybe in like an anthology style series. I don't know if I want to revisit Jin after this DLC. I think Ghost has like its own perfect contained story, and we could visit other characters in this same system. because their world is gorgeous. You know, they have this wonder of going around and finding stuff in this world that not a lot of games bring out, you know, and I think that's something to note. Beyond that, the new characters we're introduced to, I don't think they were anything stellar, but to be honest, I didn't think character work was the big thing in the first game. I think a lot of it was setting up these big action moments for you to get in some cool one-on-one fights with a really hard boss. But that's where I will bring up the duels. The duels were meant to be challenge fights, and they are fun, and I did fine at them. But it shows how limited the combat can be at times, where I didn't struggle with 2 of the duels, but one, halfway through that fight, you're meant to, I guess, attack into a blue attack, but you've been taught opposite the whole game, and I don't know, maybe I was dumb and had the wrong armor set on, because ironically, a lot of challenges can be helped by wearing the red armor set, which I love. But I did think that it was a little weird that the combat like showed it didn't have the depth I would love to see. So if they do make another game, I would love to see them add a little bit more to the combo system of the normal fighting while still making it feel as action heavy. I still feel like a hell of a samurai when I play this game. Outside of that, I don't really have many complaints. If you didn't like Ghost, I don't think this DLC is going to bring you back in personally, but if you did enjoy Ghost of Tsushima, this is just more good Ghost of Tsushima fun. It's going to provide you a new challenge, especially if you're playing on the hardest difficulty, which I think is like a 1-hit mode or a 1 to 2-hit mode. You'll have a lot of fun with it, and I think the story is compelling enough for you to want to go through and see all the cool moments that happen within it. But other than that, I would say it's definitely worth the $20 that it costs, or buying the complete edition, which I think we are going to see come to PC soon, so that'll be pretty cool. Let me know what you think of Ghost of Tsushima, Iki Island, or just Ghost of Tsushima in general, and leave a like, and don't forget to follow. Have a good one.